Okay, guys, we're here today at Harry's again for another Q&A. Before I start this, I would like to acknowledge the fact I'm here with Mike Lowder, by the way. Mike, thanks for sitting and meeting with me, talking to me for a minute. I mistakenly made a statement that Mike did not contact me. He was one of the ones that didn't reach out, but when in fact he did, I missed a text message. It's my fault. I had wrapped up the Q&As already, but I wanted to extend the offer because we had communicated. I just missed it, and I'm sorry. I apologize for that.
Totally okay.
I want to preface this by stating that. Having said that, I do want to thank you for. I want to thank all the candidates that have taken the time out of your schedules, because I know campaign season can't be easy. I don't know why anybody would want to get in politics after doing this myself, and I'm just asking questions. So having said that, I appreciate you taking the time out of your schedule to meet with me.
Thank you for having me here.
So same thing, I'm looking for about 10 minutes time, 3 or 4 questions, depending on the length of your answers. These are questions that have been presented to me throughout my travels and businesses and residents in the city. So something that just came up, and you're going to be the only person I think I've asked this to, because it just came up, published this morning, I think, from the Post and Courier regarding districts versus at large in the city. What's your stance on that?
Well, first off, let me just say that there's good and bad. And when I say good and bad, when you have what the city of Myrtle Beach has today, you have 7 that represent the entire city of Myrtle Beach. I represent the city from the far south end city limits to the north end city limits. And actually, I get calls all through the city. I live on the south end, but it's amazing how many calls I get above 60th Avenue North. And it's because, and I firmly believe this more than anything else, is because I listen and I respond. Now, it seems to work, but now I would not be opposed to not 6 districts and a mayor running at large. I think I like kind of sort of what North Myrtle Beach, something along those same lines. And I'm not necessarily saying it's working perfect in North Myrtle Beach, because I just don't know. I just know North Myrtle Beach did this, where you may have 4 districts where and you live in that district, and you get the people who vote you in from that district, and then you may have 2 at large, 2 council members at large, and then a mayor at large. And that kind of gives you a spread. And there are all kinds of ways. You could have 6 districts and then a mayor at large. And so I'm not opposed to it. I think it's not all bad, but I will say this about that. What I've seen thus far, since I've been a member of city council especially, you have districts. That representative in that district gets to where they don't care about anything except in that district. And then it just kind of, it may cause for some bridges to get burned, and it may cause each other to get rubbed raw, and it makes it look like you're almost not like you're working together. And so, like I said, it works in a lot of places. And it could work in Myrtle Beach. Of course, there's a lot of hoops to jump through to get there. I mean, if the decision was made tomorrow that this is what the city of Myrtle Beach is going to do, it may take 2, maybe even 3 years or longer to work through the legal process of it. And because when you start drawing districts, obviously you got to keep in mind that every person is equally represented in each district, and so that's one of the challenges, is to make sure that takes place. I think it's got merit on both sides, but what I do like right now, although sometimes we disagree, and I'm usually one of them just disagreeing, but we, as a general, what I do like, even though we disagree, we don't get mad and take our toys and go home and don't play anymore. So, but I think it's got merit in either way, but I'm not opposed to it a bit.
Gotcha. You bring up valid points. Do you think that the city is in a better position than it was 15 years ago?
That's an interesting question. Yes and no. That's the only way I know how to explain that. If you look at growth, commercial growth and residential growth, I think we're in a better position. When you look at the amount of tourism that comes to Myrtle Beach versus 15 years ago, I think we're in a better position. Now, having said that, as growth comes, there are problems that comes along with it. Managing the growth is a very important thing, and also understanding what effect growth in areas has on different areas of the city. And commercial-wise, we seem to be really growing well in certain areas of the city, where in certain areas we're not. And so that's the reason I'm saying that, yes, it's been good and bad. Well, I'm not going to say bad. It's just been good and then not so good.
Yeah.
And so, but overall, it's even with some of the challenges we have, yes, if you look at improvements that have been done with, in the city in the last 15 years, when you talk about things for folks to do, grand parks, sports center, more attracting areas in different areas in the city, newer hotel properties, newer businesses, more restaurants, and more places to go, things like that. Yes, but at the same time, some areas have not grown as fast. That's the only way I know how to put that.
Understandable. That kind of segues into this. Many say that it seems like Ocean Boulevard area is a war zone in places, primarily on the south end, and feel like this may be intentional to drive property values down. What are your thoughts?
Well, first of all, I don't believe there's anything intentional. I'll put it this way: and I'll just say if, that is a possibility. That's never been heard in my ear and never crossed my teeth. What I will say is, I believe that things that have been taking place in order to thinking that it helps curb some activity that shouldn't be taking place. The philosophy of policing, especially in the area, and I don't, when you say on the south end, so I'm gonna use an area from say 21st Avenue North to 6th Avenue South, okay? So when you look at years ago, and we talked about this earlier about when you were younger and how things were on the boulevard, and you thought maybe I may have been working down there during that time. What we did is we had 2 officers on foot, here, from 6th South to 21st Avenue North, okay? Those officers were not just on foot, they were on the sidewalks, they were walking, people were seeing them, they were interacting with people, they were interacting with our business community. I knew when I worked down there, as I did in the area when I was patrolling, whatever, I knew the business people. I would I would go into the neighborhoods. I would learn and visit and speak with people. It's the same thing there. And when you're doing that, you build a relationship, and then you can receive information. It's amazing how much information you can receive. The second thing is, when you have these officers like this, you can control crowds better. And of course, you have to enforce our laws. And then not only you're doing that, now people see police officers, they feel safe. Is Myrtle Beach safe? I believe it is, but a perception is there's areas that it's not. And so we are not helping that by some of the messaging we're sending when you close off the boulevard on Friday and Saturday nights from 4 o'clock in the evening until 2 o'clock in the morning. And then you have groups of police officers standing around, and people look and they say, every time I ask this question, I get the same answer. There's something bad happened up there. That is a message that doesn't need to be sent. That causes the perception, right, in itself. So what we need to do is do what we did before. You know, when you think it's doing good for one, if you think it's doing great, you know, that we're not having the problems that we're having, but some of the actions that you take, some of the things you're doing there, you're actually driving people away. And now who suffers from that is the business community that's there. And that group of people in that area that I'm talking about, they pay property taxes, they pay business license. And when the folks don't come there, then they suffer.
Right.
And as a result of that, guess who else suffers? The city of Myrtle Beach suffers. So we got a great police department, but we just got to get out. We just got to get out of that box we're in and go back and look at things how they used to work. And I think Myrtle Beach, that area will feel safer, and people will start coming back to the boulevard, and people that are in business down there will start realizing that this is a better opportunity. Now, one thing that has been done there that I do agree with is the curfew, because the business community has responded to me about that, and they are very happy with it because it is working. So it's all about what we're doing just really isn't working. Now we just have to do something different. And personally, that's what we need to do. They do it right now they're doing it in Charleston on King Street. 2 officers, 2 officers, 2 officers. Hey, in Nashville, Tennessee, same thing. 2 officers, 2 officers. I had friends up in Nashville here a while back, and they said, wow, there were just police officers here, here, and there. And man, we just felt really safe. I've walked that boulevard every Saturday night in June. Did I feel uncomfortable? Did I feel like I was in danger? No, I did not. But the perception's there, and we've got to send the right message to make people believe and cause that perception to become reality that it is safe there. That's the only way I know how that we can make that right.
Awesome. Well, you definitely have presented some great answers. Again, my apologies for missing that text originally. I can only apologize, but I'm glad that we did have this opportunity to sit and discuss a couple things, and I hope that the folks that watch this, if they have not voted yet in early voting, I'm hoping that November 4th that this question and answer session may help influence their decision.
Well, number one, I want to thank you. I'm very glad that we had our conversation last Saturday, and for more than just one or two reasons, we discussed that,
right.
and I appreciate the fact that we could work this out. And I would just like to say to the voters in Myrtle Beach that if you haven't cast your vote already between now and the 4th of November here, that you will make your voice louder by voting for Mike Lowder as a member of City Council.
That's a good slogan. Thanks, guys, for watching.